Hello, kids. This is Anthony, and this is the Surreal Urban Jungle. You're probably asking yourself, what is the Surreal Urban Jungle? Surreal Urban Jungle is everything inside of my head. All the creative juices flowing. Surreal Urban Jungle is art, nature, travel, sometimes fencing. Surreal Urban Jungle is spontaneity. It all started in 2012. In 2012, I never painted anything, and I had a nice walking stick. And one day, I just had to paint it. But I didn't want to just do any old job. I really wanted it to look well. I didn't know what I wanted to paint, but I knew I had to paint. So I decided I was going to paint roses on it, and I think it turned out pretty well. After that, I wanted to do more of them. So I did a few of the same type of basic walking stick, and I quickly bored of that. I wanted to do something else. I wanted to carve. Up until that point, I was using my pocket knife, which was cool. But then I got a lino, and that took it to another level. So I really enjoyed that. Um, just trying to get bigger, taking walks here in the surreal urban jungle, seeing what's there, all the wood, all the trees. At that time, I was I was discovering during this time. Um, During my walks through the woods, I was seeing a lot of birds in the wood, a lot of different animals. They were just everywhere, but a lot of birds, some elephants, but mostly hummingbirds and owls. So during this time, um, when I was drawing or working with the series of basic walking sticks, I sketch out what I want to do and then paint it. And I was looking at a jumble of lines there one day, and I could see an angel staring back at me, and it had reminded me of an experience that I had probably 20 years before, where I felt I was able to see everything, and it was wonderful. And I had always wanted to see like that again, and here it was happening to me again, but only I was I was doing it at will. And so I started looking at everything, trying to see what I can see. But there was no way to show what I could see. And then in August of 2013, on my birthday, my car died, and I junked it, and I took that money and I bought an iPad so I could take pictures and paint them. So all the cracks in the street, I started doing those. I mean, people were everywhere, and there was one theme. Everyone wore a helmet. Um, I would say a gold helmet, but everyone wore a helmet. And I wasn't quite able to figure out why for the longest. I just knew when I first started doing this, I thought the people that I started to see were Egyptian. They must be from Egypt. But I quickly realized that was not the case. They were different people, probably older people. Um, but I didn't know who they were. um, but all my people had these helmets, and then in September of 2013, I discovered this researcher named Alex Putney, and he mostly studies infrasound standing waves and so much stuff at humanresonance.org. But that once I discovered his work, then I understood what these helmets were. These people were wearing psychoacoustic helmets, and they were from the Paleo Sanskrit era. So it gave me a sense of the fact that they weren't just random people, but they were a specific group of people. And the more and more I thought about it, I saw different groups of people everywhere, all ancestors, but um, different. And in 2014, I I had been wanting to work with stone. I've always loved stone work, but I didn't know how to work with stone. I never worked with stone. And on my way walking one day to the club, to the fencers club, I saw a rock there that looked just like a dog. The way it sat, you could see his face right there. And I got to thinking that I could do that. Like I see it right there. It's there. Um, I played with a little bit, but I didn't like how things were turning out. So I took a break and I came back and I painted one that I thought was really nice. And that was the only one where I painted the the skin. After that, I knew that I would never paint that, but paint around it. Leave them as is. They are the living stone. They are the heart of the stone. So um, I started. I started doing those left and right. That was in August 2014. In in February 2015, I got one big stone that I really wanted to work with. I really wanted to see what was there. It's huge, um, but I took a while to look at it. Um, that was called Nazca. But before that, actually, there was Giza, and Giza was one similar to my first stone, which has man before enlightenment and man after enlightenment on either side. And this was a bigger one, more detail, and it really felt like a huge leap for me, artistically. But I in July 2015, I had another huge stone called Nazca. I had no idea what to do with. But I did outline it. I knew who was there, but I didn't know what colors should be used and how it would be. And I like to be sure before I begin work. Um, in September 2015, I was able to go to La Mana, Ecuador. And some of that interest was due to the research of Alex Putney. And I wanted to go to the Hummingbird Pyramids there, which didn't actually happen. I'm going to have to go back, but I did make it there. It was a good trip, very enlightening for me. In fact, I was there for lunar eclipse. It was beautiful. Um, when I came back from that trip in October 2015, I did complete Nazca, and I wanted to start doing bigger stones. So I started searching out bigger stones and working with those. Um, and then actually in December, the day after Christmas, I did my very first video. For some reason, I decided I wanted to start showing my process from start to finish, finding the stone, cleaning it, painting it, and from start to finish. So I started doing that, um, and it was cool. Um, I really didn't quite know what direction I was gonna go though. But in February of 2016, I was on Instagram, and there was a lady in Dubai that was liking my work, and I just decided to ask her how she thought it might be received there in Dubai. And she said she thought people would love it. And she asked me if I was coming to Design Days and Art Week, and I said, "What's that?" I went and found out, and that was February 6th. I remember that was Friday night, Saturday morning, and I decided at that moment I had to be in Dubai at Design Days and Art Week, which was going to be in like a month and a half, in March 18th through the 21st, I believe. So I was working feverishly every day. I was outside painting all day, every day, having so much fun. Keep in mind, I did not have the money for this, but it didn't matter. I knew I was gonna go. I knew I was gonna go. In fact, and I did something I normally wouldn't do. I had announced that I was going to go. So it kind of put pressure on me, which I normally wouldn't like, but I didn't care. I was committed. I knew it had to be. Um, the time came, and I did not make the trip. I was disappointed, but I kind of doubled down. Like, I just knew I had something special, and I was driven to see it through. And I was going to get to Dubai. I was supposed to be there. I knew there was something more for me there, not just that week. So I was going anyway. Um, man, I did not make that trip. And at this time, I was not quite sure what direction I was going with what I was doing. I felt a little bit stuck. Usually when that happens to me, I don't force it. I just keep doing what I'm doing and go with the flow and kind of figure it out. Intuition and instinct have served me well for a very long time. So I'll continue to trust. Um, but I did do like a little. I knew I wanted to tell stories, so I did this little story with book titles that I had, which was pretty simple and basic, but it was fun to me. It was an accomplishment. I don't think anybody else would think very much of it. Um, but after that, right after that, in April, I did my my Gustav Klimt, Anthony Dubosc collaboration with his erotic drawings and my erotic pictures of two trees here at Angkor on Bankhead. No one's really seen that. It's buried deep inside my Instagram. No one saw it, but it's there. I'm going to revise it, and it's going to be nice. But after that, April 12th, for whatever reason, I decided I wasn't getting through to anyone, and I had to start doing videos with my face. And that day I did three short videos, just letting you you guys know how I felt. Like, you know, I felt like there was no time to waste, and I had a mission, something to do. So it really kind of got going there. In June, well, actually May, I went to in May I went to the wall I had been looking at forever across the street from Goodwill on Northside Drive here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I put up like 5 or 6 chalk drawings, and they were cool. I liked them. And I went back the next day and I did some more of them, and they were good. And I left it at that. About a month later, I started working on the carport. I saw one beautiful young lady there, and I brought it out there on the carport, and that became much more. I completed it on July 4th, on the 4th of July, and I was calling it Collective Return to Source instead of Independence Day. But just before that, around like a few days before the 4th of July, I decided I was going to Dubai, and I got my ticket on the July 10th. I flew out to Dubai with $55 in my pocket. I stayed there for 10 days. I did not pay for a meal. I did not pay for my hotel, and I got a brand new airline ticket home. Simply blessed. I knew I was meant to go there. I met so many good people. I made the best of friends who I'm gonna go back and see again. It was good. It was a good trip. It was meant to be. You know, there's that knowing that you have, and That's what that was all about. I knew I needed to lay some groundwork there, but I will be returning. Um, and now I've been working on bigger walls. That's what I'm trying to do here in Surreal Urban Jungle, right here at Angkor on Bankhead. The Chalk and Stone tour has not ceased. It is still on. There's still more travel that will be happening here. So that's it. Hopefully you now know and have some idea about the Surreal Urban Jungle and Angkor on Bankhead and me, Nagusa Nagas. Peace.